The
この番
following
組は
program
週
contains
刊少
spoilers
年
for
ジャン
every
プの
single
各
series
シリ
currently
ーズの
running
ネ
in
タバレ
Weekly
が含ま
Shonen
れてい
Jump.
ます。ご
Listener
注意くだ
discretion is
さい。
advised.
And we're live. Hello
Are we
today.
live now?
We're live now. How are you
Hello.
doing? Hello. Welcome to the show.
Our show, 俺たちの漫画はこれからだ. In short, KoreKara, where we talk about all the jump chapters that we've read. Sorry, my mind is slow today.
Aw.
I'm tired.
Drink your Coca-Cola there. Get hype again. We are in episode 7 today. Talking about issue 12. Are we
12.
12. Wow. What an issue.
Yeah, time flies.
Time flies.
When
I
you're
can't believe it.
having fun reading mangas.
Yeah. Did you have fun this week?
No.
No, you didn't like it. There are some things I liked.
My ratings this week are generally low.
Oh, really?
I didn't have a lot of time to make the graph, but I think the highest I'm going is 69.
Oh, really? Wow. I think I gave everything fairly average scores this week. There was one chapter that I did quite like. Maybe you had different opinions. I think
I
it
might,
was something
but
that
I'm looking
last
forward to
week
find out.
I was really disliking, and then I was like, actually, I like this. Anyway.
Wait, which one?
We'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
First of all, we got a new series starting, so the cover has
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like how we announced it last week, we were the first ones to break the news. Was us. It only came us because it only came out because of us.
Yeah, you're welcome. What's the author's name?
Shinkai Hide something.
You're welcome, Shinkai Hide something. We're spreading the word about the new series, Earthchild.
Maybe we shouldn't spread the word.
Yeah. So what did you think of this one? Obviously, you weren't too hot on it.
Like I liked the idea in the beginning, and then the series turned into like
it goes in a weird direction, doesn't it?
It did the Magu-chan speedrun.
Yes, I was reading this thinking, is this the first chapter or the final chapter?
Yeah.
It's almost like so. All right, for those who didn't read it or forgot it already, the premise is there's this guy, and he almost gets isekai trucked, but then a girl with psychic powers saves him.
And she's very beautiful.
Yes, and her costume is kind of weird because it's just like casual exercise clothes on the bottom, but then the top is more like a superhero suit with the stripes and the mechanical looking parts of the mask. Anyway.
What?
So she's got the Men in Black thing, or I don't know if you would call that mechanical, but you know.
I thought she was just wearing one of those pitan masks. No, I think she's just wearing like headphone things and a pita mask.
Oh, you think it's just headphones? I thought it was some sort of like a superhero thing. Anyway.
I mean, technically, she doesn't need a mask if she can just erase everybody's memories with
she's got
the Men in Black
thing from Men in Black on her phone, and she erases the main guy's memory, and he wakes up, and his butt is covered in mud, and somehow he does not have the
mud.
thought.
Sure.
Did I poop myself in the middle of the night?
I
think
like
that would be like the normal, or that would be the funnier thing to have. But
it looks like I was really. It's so weird that it didn't go that way. Like, oh, my butt looks like I shit myself, but then he says, "Oh, why am I covered in mud for no reason?"
Yeah. So there's an explanation from her that she is an Earth child, which is, I guess, the Earth will designate people to be protectors and give them superpowers.
Yeah, and all of them must be in Japan, as the
of course.
Infographic shows
the center
us.
of the Earth, Japan.
I like what I like is that since Japan must be in the center for any Japanese viewpoint, so in order to show like the world as a symbol, for instance, if you imagine, if you remember the Earthbound logo, the one that also gets used for when Ness wins in Smash Brothers.
That's how I know it.
Right? They use a symbol that you recognize as the Earth, but only because it has like a cloud pattern on it. Because if you just show Japan, it would be like too much Pacific.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why it's kind of like
it's not big enough of a country to show up big on the
I personally would like use the Americas or Europe because that's like a really recognizable shape. But if you have like
and
only
bigger.
Japan, then yeah.
If you do one set in Antarctica, it would also be lots of blue. Just some white,
that would be
big white
bad.
spot and then lots of blue around it. I guess
that would
probably
be bad.
If you have a Antarctica centric picture of the Earth, you could probably see like South Africa and Argentina and stuff, and
definitely
probably
Argentina.
see Tasmania. Yeah, those places are pretty close, right? Do they have penguins in Argentina?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They even had. I recently watched a documentary about the Aztecs and the Mayas and the Incas.
Your audio is going a bit weird now. It was fine before when we.
Oh no!
no!
But why?
I don't know. I'm just gonna blame your computer and say we'll hope everything is fixed next month when you get a new one.
Actually, yeah. That's the good news. I'm busy because I'm earning money to replace all of my hardware.
Yeah, so you'll be low energy this week, but hopefully in a few weeks you'll be much better
high
looking
energy.
and sounding. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to look so good.
You're saying
about Argentina? I don't want to.
You want to finish
they even had like gold statues of penguins.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I like penguins.
Because penguins. I actually don't like penguins.
You don't like penguins?
There's like these kind of animals that everybody thinks are like so cute and so iconic, like panda bears and
you don't like pandas either?
No, pandas are the worst. Pandas need to go extinct. Koala bears also are like garbage. No, and that's what everybody thinks, but then they give you syphilis, and then they scream for 5 hours. Yeah, and they scream for 5 hours and show you their gross double thumb.
Okay, I knew about their thumb, but I did not know that they scream at you and give you syphilis. That's
koalas are like extremely territorial. If you have like male koalas, they will fight and they will scream, and it's not like if they scream, they don't look cute. They look like small monsters, like goblins.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Like gremlins, and since they are so clumsy and stupid, they then like if one of them well in quotation marks wins because their fights are like it's not really a fight, but if one of them wins and the other one gets like kicked out, he just stays at the trunk of a tree and screams for hours like a total idiot.
I feel like that's probably some very relatable content to some people out there.
I guess, yeah. But like almost like 80% of all koalas have STDs.
That's gross.
It's kind of like how armadillos also have, almost all of them have
yeah, don't touch
hepatitis,
armadillos
I think.
because well, actually, armadillos where I live, there's a bunch of armadillos, and I was
Shit.
warned that they can actually they can spread. Gosh, what's that skin eating disease called?
What?
Uh, leprosy.
Oh
Armadillos can spread
no!
leprosy. Yeah, so it's like don't
I
touch
thought they
armadillos because you can get
uh
leprosy from them.
the last time I saw one, I think that was in the aquarium in the what's Ikebukuro, the shopping mall with the aquarium. They had an armadillo in there for some reason, even though it's an aquarium. And it was so gross. I don't know if it's typical for all armadillos, but like when you look at the underside of the armadillo, that's like naked mole level grossness.
I've never looked at the underside of an armadillo before. Now I don't want to.
It's like extremely unpleasant, and yeah, animal like a lot of animals are really overrated.
What do you think is an underrated animal? Maybe I shouldn't ask you so many questions when you're tired.
Bisons and like
Bisons.
buffaloes.
Oh, yeah, bisons are cool.
What's the difference? I always keep like confusing.
So a bison
is it both the same?
Is an American buffalo, but there's also Asian and African buffaloes, and they're different.
I only want
bison has a much taller head, but not as big horns.
That's
Asian and African buffaloes have really wide horns, and also American ones. Bisons are much fluffier. They look like they look like those
fluffy.
English
have...
guys at the palace.
Yes, that's a good animal.
Yeah,
looks good, tastes good.
Have you ever eaten? Have you ever eaten one before?
I think I have.
Okay. Yeah, I went to Yellowstone.
I've eaten a lot of animals.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one's the tastiest?
Well, cows.
Yeah, cow. That's a good one too.
But here's the trick: anything's the tastiest if you deep fry it.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
although I think,
have you had deep fried alligator?
Whale. Oh,
it's
I want alligator.
Rubbery. It's not that great.
No.
It's like really rubbery chicken. I imagine that if
people do like chicken.
If people do like clone dinosaurs and like
sell them as food, let me eat them.
They would probably be like alligator though. I don't think it would be as good as chicken.
Damn it.
So I think that it would become one of those things that's more of a novelty food. I think alligators, the main reason people eat them is because they use their skin for leather.
Because there's many of them.
And it's like and the farmers are like, I don't want to waste all this alligator meat, so I'll convince people it's good to eat.
Use all of the bits of the animal.
I know, yeah, that's the American way.
But I want to eat dinosaur, and I want to eat it in like this gigantic like you had.
Oh, the big turkey leg, but a dinosaur leg.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There used to be a prehistoric like Stone Age manga in Japan, like in the olden times. And I don't know what it's called, but it introduced to the people like the meat on the bone thing, the typical
with.
and that used to be such a thing that some restaurants or some food stalls prepared those specifically. Like I think they made ground beef.
That's so funny. Just
put it in the shape, and then they and this is like the only way how I want to eat the dinosaur. I want to eat dinosaur. I want to eat mammoth.
Dinosaur off the bone.
I imagine. Like I'm not old enough to have eaten mammoth, but like bear. But I imagine that our ancestors like used to be extremely buff just because they ate the mammoth, and now that there's no more mammoth, we're lacking something. Diet.
That's how we were able to defeat the Neanderthals. All the energy from mammoth meat. All the
imagine like you eat mammoth for the first time and you immediately gain like 15 kilograms of muscle mass.
I did read a thing a while ago about some Russian archaeologists who found a frozen mammoth, and they cut off a piece and ate it.
No!
Really good.
No! Can't eat that.
It's been done.
It's been too long in the fridge.
Permafrost. Just a little bit frosted. It's fine. Anyway, you also highlighted this shocked face from the girl.
Oh yeah, the anal face.
Yeah. And by the way, audience, he's saying anal is in the M&M from One Piece, not something else.
Not Canada flag.
Yeah.
Not the Canadian flag on a shirt while wearing a hoodie.
Yeah. What was she shocked about? Was it his confession that he loves her?
Yeah, because back to Earth Child. Because she fell in love with him because he's the first person who acknowledged her as doing something good. And
also he's the first normie who could remember her.
Yeah.
After
she liked how he grounded her. Like this is always the dream of having like a pop star. Like you as the fan dream about meeting like
the pop star and they're like, "Oh, you're
pop star.
So normal."
Yeah, and then he falls in love with you because you're so normal, and you're finally someone who
make her feel
isn't
like
from
not
the showbiz.
Crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess like knowing Hollywood and how crazy people are, that maybe that's not so unrealistic after all.
Yeah, I was gonna say Keanu Reeves did that by getting with a non-celebrity, but then I remembered she's one of those fine arts people who does the weird stuff.
Isn't she like the one who's like way older than him?
I don't think she's way older than him. She just has gray hair, and Keanu looks younger than he is. I think they're around the same age. I think it's Hugh Jackman who's married to a woman who's way older than him. And he also looks younger than he is. So like in pictures of them, she looks really old compared to
him. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Also, I'm fading in and out of existence.
Oh no! Come back. I'll show off the other highlights from this chapter really quick. So there's also one of the main boy jumping out of the window to ask for the girl's hand in marriage. Thinking
do you remember?
Catch him.
Do you remember in Bakuman when Hiramaru was what's the word for asking someone to marry them?
Proposing.
When he proposed to the other artist, and everybody was like, at the time when it came out, everybody was like so mad at the proposal, how he did it, the phrase that he ended up using.
What did he say?
He said, "Please make me happy." Do you remember that?
I don't remember it.
It was recently in the re-releases.
Must have been so dumb I blocked it out.
It was really bad, but I think the one that his editor gave him was actually way better, even though the manga in World pretended as if it was bad. his editor, who's always manipulating him, said that he proposed to his wife by saying, please make breakfast for me for the rest of
that one sounds familiar.
our days. See?
Yeah.
But you forgot the one that actually ruined it. But speaking of like bad proposals, this is like really bad.
This is a pretty bad proposal. Yeah.
You're
all hurt right now, but please use your powers to save me.
Yeah.
And then marry me. But she goes for it.
She goes for it, but she got shot like multiple times.
Yeah.
That's why she's in the hospital. She got shot. Okay? And then he makes her jump out of the window with him.
How romantic.
What an asshole.
I know. That's terrible. But they get married, and it's fine. And it fast forwards to them having a kid already. And then the girl goes to space and dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's Magu-chan all over again.
I know. I was reading this and being like, this is so bizarre. It's it's the final chapter.
When she dies,
it's the ending chapter.
The explosion is I think this is supposed to make us think of Kimi no Nawa, your name.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't include it, but in the page before this, you see the asteroid exploding, and it looks really bad. Like as if this page and the one before it, as if the artist put like two different sets of assistants to work.
Could have been. Who knows? Or they just said, we don't have time for this page. We're going to do the really nice looking one.
I guess.
Yeah. But like...
But since I didn't like it, I suspect that this is like the plan. Remind everybody of the good thing.
Probably. But it makes me wonder, like, next week... Like, is it still gonna be about this guy now that... I mean, the wife is on the cover.
He's on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're on the cover.
That's the weird thing.
Is it gonna be like a time skip and it'll be about their kid?
Gotta be.
Because, like, otherwise, then, you know, the title character is dead already.
What if it's not him on the cover? What if
it's the son?
That's the
grown up.
It's the son.
Yeah, because
he just grows up to look exactly like the father.
And the dad. Oh wait, no, the dad does have a hoodie like that in a one shot. Whatever, we'll find out next week. Are you interested? Are you interested enough to keep reading next week?
Like, I'm torn because I only give this 60 points, and like the art got much better from his previous works.
Okay.
I haven't read the and a lot of it is very competent. Like even the backgrounds are not just polarized photos.
Yeah.
But there were some moments that didn't look good, so it's not like a 100% mwah, chef's kiss. This is good. It's just it's okay. It's okay, but I foresee that the conflict that the son is going to go through is going to be about like multiple Earth childs.
Probably.
And I feel like nothing that could come after this would have as much impact as the story about how the mother and the father met. Yeah. So if you introduce any more Earth child characters, you'd have to like spend one more chapter on everybody's parents just to show. Also, by the way, it was kind of a really ballsy decision to start the first chapter of your new series on talking about real life people like Usain Bolt and Mahatma Gandhi and Steve Jobs of all people.
Yeah.
Without even mentioning that he died of ligma. How dare they?
could have had a fundraising opportunity for the charities for that. Yeah, I
How
said
many
that
points did you get it?
So I think I don't know if I mentioned I want to switch for myself from a 100 scale to a 10 scale.
Really?
Yeah. Since I'm like I never give it any, I never like put anything with super detail. Like you're always like, oh, I'll give it 78 or I'll give it 61.
Yeah, because I can't give the things like the same rating because then I can't say
chart.
this was definitely better than this one.
But it
always has to be like a granular small difference.
And also I wanted to
And even
did you ever read those gaming magazines that they would give the ratings of something and have like their custom things? So it's like, 6 out of 10 controllers or something like that.
What do you want to give?
So I'm gonna give it 7 out of 10 isekai trucks. Because it's very audacious to begin your manga series with one of the main characters
with a truck and the main character doesn't die.
It's a double fake out. He doesn't get isekai'd, and then the main heroine dies. Actually, in that way, it's kind of like a Disney or Pixar movie. This is like the intro scene to a Disney or Pixar movie.
I guess.
Where one or the other parents
Finding
die.
Nemo.
Yeah. This is the part in Finding Nemo when the barracuda comes and eats Nemo's mom. Or the like 5-second cutaway and during a song in Frozen when their parents get on a boat and sink in the ocean and die.
Well, we'll find out next week if the sun starts trying to build a snowman. By the way, if you switch to a system of 10, 1 out of 10, then you could still go like 9.8, and then you're basically just saying 98.
Yeah.
You haven't changed anything.
Well, it's because if I said that it was 70 isekai trucks, that sounds like a lot of trucks. Too many.
Fine.
When it's item based, a lower number is easier to quantify.
By the way, I spent a lot of time today at work thinking about isekais, and you'll be pleased what I'm going to make.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for a new project.
Side project. I'm looking forward to it. But for now, tell me
like when you think I thought about so much that I thought about it so much that like things started to connect. I was like, wow.
Write it down. Write it down and tell me when you're more awake.
Yes.
Hopefully, did you read Jujutsu Kaisen this week?
Yeah, but I'm going to make it quick. Jujutsu Kaisen was like a disappointment because the one who beckons darkness doesn't do what I expected him to do, and he's just a jobber to make what's his name, Okotsu, reveal to the other two major players that he can do reverse. What's it called? Reverse
curse technique.
Something.
I don't read enough to remember what reverse curse technique means. I read this chapter and I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, a lot of the action was like really hard to follow, and
there was one part that was very followable, but it was also kind of dumb.
Yeah. I thought it was stupid how the one who beckons darkness shows that he can like summon ads, and that he shoot you with like small bullets from his stupid meat cleaver that will then cause you to grow more ads.
Yeah.
And then he hits him like full frontal with the meat cleaver. With the end that has all of the openings. So basically, he should have like now burst into like a million of those big cockroaches, but instead he uses the opportunity to use his command grab and somehow, I guess, transfer the reverse curse directly through his mouth. I didn't know that was a thing, but like this is lame.
It's gross too. He's
This is
mouth to mouthing a giant cockroach.
Yeah, but
I'm sure
you could have done
this is
so much
someone's
more.
fetish.
Yeah, you could have done so much more with the cockroach spirit. Yeah. Like that's such a cool concept, and also like it got demonstrated that it was a very dangerous situation, and then it just gets treated as a jobber just because he went into his aggro range and then he switched into melee mode.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing, and I'm not satisfied with that.
Yeah, my comment on it was that it's kind of like what happened in Dan Da Dan with they get rid of the inhuman monster real quick to make room for what they think are cooler humanoid enemies. Because at the end, the two people have been watching, like they come in and you're like, oh, you could do reverse curse techniques.
The worst thing is that the person, like one of those two who have been watching, is just weather report. Like cockroach, that's original.
Who was flying?
Yeah. Cockroach that's original. Like that's new. That's interesting. But like weather
maybe not
report.
If people have been reading what was it called?
JoJo.
Terraform
yeah,
Mars.
but oh, you mean
that's all roach all the time.
But those are different. Those are just muscle men.
Yeah, they're humanoid roaches.
They can't AoE like a swarm of small cockroaches.
True.
That's different. Anyways. Jujutsu so disappointing. 58. Disappointing.
Okay, yeah. I give it 6 out of 10 tracksuits. Although I guess this guy is actually dressed more like a chef and not in a tracksuit.
That's true.
That
like he's not. He doesn't look cool.
No.
He's also lame.
He's better
they
than
dropped
Reggie.
the tracksuit. Still lame.
Yeah, it's like how.
Did you see? Wait. Did you see? Did you get the? I get constantly bombarded with the commercial for, the PUBG, collaboration with Jujutsu Kaisen. Have you seen that? Somehow, it seems like they're putting Jujutsu Kaisen character models into PUBG.
So PUBG is trying to do the Fortnite thing.
Yeah, but I don't think they've ever done it before. So like the first thing they ever do, and it's like out of nowhere Jujutsu Kaisen for no reason.
Weird.
It doesn't even make sense. Like in Fortnite, it makes sense because they already started doing it with something that was currently like really hot.
And everyone is cartoony anyway.
And everybody's cartoony, but then they eventually got around to do Naruto, and everybody was like, "Yeah, finally mangas." And then PUBG was probably like, "Oh, Naruto, so let's get the other one."
Yeah, I can't find any screenshots of it. Just the announcement.
It's so weird that the models they show off in the commercial look extremely good when you know that PUBG looks like shit.
Are they lying to us with these models?
It might be lying to us, or it's going to have like extremely what's it called, dissonance.
Oh yeah, and they'll look so much better than all the other characters.
Yeah, likely. I mean, to be fair, Mando also looks a lot better than some other characters in Fortnite. In Fortnite, yeah, all of the newest collaboration stuff looks extremely good. Like probably like 500 more polygons and HD texture.
Yeah, they've been working
compared
hard.
To like previous ones with like SD.
That's 500 where the money comes from.
Different colors.
Yeah.
Maybe
anyway, Next, we have
is Macadamia.
Hero Academia, and this time we do get an explanation. Last week we were like, why isn't there an explanation of how they can get past the lie detector? And what did you think about this? I thought this explanation was such
dumb.
an ass pull. That they're like,
it was wasted.
Because it's like they bring back the guy who can control your movements, and they're just like, oh yeah, off screen.
Not
Off
just the
screen, he learned
movements.
how to make people say things that he wants.
I think it's not just movements. I think it's complete mind control.
Well, that's what they say changed, because before when they were doing the fights between the classes, it said that he can. They said he could puppet other people's
You've got
movements. Oops, I turn off my email browser. I think I just got some. It was talking through my ear. I don't know if the audience heard it. Anyway, in this they specifically say like, oh, you trained really hard, and now you can control people's speech too. And he's like, yep. So it's like something that was not really. It's not something that you could have thought of before. It's like in detective stories where they bring out something and then everyone goes, oh, but then the reader is like, oh, but that's information that the characters had, but I didn't have. Like I didn't see the people who knew that talking about that, so I never would have been able to guess it. It's that sort of thing, which
it's really probably like revealing that the killer used a modified Glock that can shoot a different type of bullet that normal pistols wouldn't be able to shoot. Probably. I don't know. I can't. When you say detective, that's all I can think of right now.
Okay.
But I think like Shinso, the mind control guy, is like he could do so much more with his power, and they never pull him out.
I know.
Just because he's supposedly inexperienced or something, even though like they put Tail Guy in class A. They put Mineta in class
for
A.
So long.
Yeah,
he'd be so much stronger than those guys. It's weird.
And then they in this exact chapter they pull out Monoma too, the guy who can copy any quirk, which is also like extremely like it's so much better than most characters in class A.
Exactly. You're wondering like why are these people like bit characters that they pull out for special occasions?
I mean, they do say no. What do they say? I didn't highlight it. There are no bit players. Everybody's a main character. Like,
but they're lying to us because we haven't seen these people for months.
Yeah.
So they're
by the
characters.
way, did you read the author comments?
No, I didn't. What did the author say?
Because I didn't know they display those in English now.
Oh, okay.
In the author comment for Hero Academia, Horikoshi specifically says that he designed Monoma to look like I forgot the name of the actor, but he said it's the Valerian guy.
Valerian guy.
He was in Amazing Spider-Man, but I don't know who he played.
I forget his name. I know who you're talking about. He played Harry in Amazing Spider-Man, and then he was Valerian, and then Valerian bombed so hard I've never seen him again. I forget his name.
Everybody thought Valerian was going to be like the next thing.
I know. It was not that good.
Disappointing!
Exactly. And so was the explanations for how they did things in this.
I kind of like that Monoma got pulled out and that Horikoshi finally decided to say like, yeah, this is actually like extremely valuable and we should have probably done this like 8 years ago. And I almost kind of I'm going to say I almost appreciate it because everything else I hate so much that it's really hard to like get the appreciation meter above the annoyance meter. So, like, I almost appreciated how finally, after, like, how many? 8 chapters where they were just wasting time?
Yeah.
They finally reveal how they planned to separate all of the villains from each other, because that was the main plan, right? They said we have to separate them all
and send them to different places. So kids will be
and we can only do that when we have them all in the same place. But you know what?
What?
I mean, now that Monoma can just teleport anybody anywhere,
just teleport them into space. Just send them up there. You're like, bye.
Yes.
It's like, to
be fair, I was going to say send them to the bottom of the ocean, but space is like the same.
Yeah, because have you seen X-Men First Class?
No.
Okay, there's a guy in that who can teleport. He's implied to be Nightcrawler's father. But anyway, he's a bad guy, and the way he kills people is that he'll grab them and then teleport with them like super high into the sky, and then teleport only himself back down, so they just fall and die.
Yeah, and that'll do.
He wins like a fight against anyone who can't fly, basically.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so teleportation could do that, or like I guess I don't know how this kind of teleportation works, but like it's like how have you seen Infinity War?
No.
Okay, because one of the criticisms in that movie is that there's a battle scene where a bunch of the heroes are trying to stop Thanos from using the Infinity Gauntlet, and they're all like struggling so hard to pull it, and Doctor Strange like summons a bunch of magical ropes to try to pull it, but we'd seen before that his portals, when they close, they cut off anything that's like in between the portal. So why not just cut off Thanos' arm with a portal? Like send his hand to a different place, then you win. And I guess the writers kind of forgot about that when they were making the movie.
I bet the writers also forgot about like Ant-Man being able to go into Thanos' and like just expand. Problem solved.
Exactly. Yeah. End it right there.
The funny thing is there's apparently a villain, Black Ant, who
he does that?
who does that with other villains, and
oh no.
Like if he had been on the heroes team, he would have done that to Thanos.
Yeah.
Because he's that kind of guy.
I'm sure there's a fan animation of it out there somewhere, but I'm not gonna look it up.
I can confirm to you that there is fan animation.
All right. Yeah. So were you satisfied with the explanations in this chapter? And now next week we're going to finally get the battles, the separated battles, One Piece style. Every member of the crew gets to fight a member of the villain team.
You know what's weird?
What?
We saw them, like the All For One is teleporting all of his minions in, right?
Yeah.
But then Monoma is teleporting all of the heroes in, right? So now he's teleporting all of the villains back out. So will he have to like teleport all of the heroes after all of the villains, or?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, you know what I hope they do, but they probably won't do. My guess is that he's going to be like, I'm going to teleport each person to the location of the villain who they have the best chance of fighting. What they should have done is teleport each villain with like a tracking device, so they know where they are, and then go one by one and be like, okay, everybody, the entire hero team,
everybody,
go to one guy at a time and just beat his ass, and then move on to the next guy. That's what they should do, but they probably won't. They're gonna be like, you gotta split up, or we won't be able to track them, even though they have like super technology. So they could probably just send trackers with them.
Yeah, that's going on my list of like major gripes I have.
That would be the how it should have ended cartoon version.
Yeah,
that would be much worse drawn than the anime.
So I'm giving this 65 points, which is 5 more than Earthchild.
Wow, it's exactly the same. I'm giving it 6.5 macadamia nuts.
Nice. See, you're still doing fractal number. What's it called in English?
Fractions.
Decimal numbers. Fractions.
Yeah, but it's fewer. 65 macadamia nuts would take too long to eat.
Not if you deep fry them. Next up is Sakamoto. Everything is better in deep fry.
Oh yeah,
Sakamoto
the guy with
Days.
Blade. How's that working?
Shin is immediately disabling the stupid blade because it's just too stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy is whining about. I don't even want to talk about it. His character is all over the place. He's a germaphobe, right. And he's so full of himself. But then he gets like really mopey because he lost, and Shin doesn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's somehow that makes him sad, even though he should be like, haha, you suck. And then they share the bullets among each other.
Okay.
Because Shin is like, well, you have potential, and since you want to be one of the good assassins, I'll let you proceed, even though I just beat your ass.
Mm-hmm. Even though you have stupid sword shoes.
Yeah. Then Sakamoto shows off how to shoot.
Yeah, teaching a new girl.
There's two things happening. One is I want to draw your attention to Sakamoto's cheek flab being squished by the gun.
It's gonna jiggle so much in the anime when he shoots.
Yeah, and
the fully automatic jiggle.
The other thing I wanted to highlight is that Sakamoto is specifically just shooting all of the guns out of the hands of the bad guys. Yeah, just so you know he's not killing anybody.
I thought he just shot somebody like last chapter.
No, he was just like doing disabling shots.
Okay.
He's just that good. It's only like one
this movie
person
guy
in the real world who can do that. But oh no, the movie guy is like the worst. He's one of the order, so he's basically on the same level as Takamura, the katana old guy.
Yeah, but he uses a clapper from
his thing is that he's only talking about movie stuff, and I'm very sad about finding out that the author knows what Funny Games is. Do you know what movie that is?
I don't think so. It sounds familiar.
It's kind of notorious because it's by a director who was trying to make a point how stupid violence is. So he made a movie that's in his intentions utterly pointless and just extremely violent. It's about two guys who...
I've seen part of it, and I thought it was so dumb that I was like, I'm not going to finish this. Yeah, I'm reading the synopsis. It's the family lives or is vacationing by a lake.
True. Yeah.
And then they have like some neighborhood teenagers who are like psychos, and
well, not exactly teenagers, but young men. Yeah. And they intrude on them, and first they pretend to just be like clumsy and destroying stuff in the house just to annoy them, and also to make it impossible to call the cops. And then they suddenly become extremely violent and play sadistic games with the family. They specifically break a lot of the rules of thriller movies. For instance, they immediately kill the kid.
Mm-hmm.
When you normally think, oh well, the child
will get away,
survive, but they will. The first one they kill is the child, and then there is some red herrings where they show stuff that makes you think, oh, they're going to use this later on, and then it doesn't happen. Like nothing happens with it. And then there's a moment where the wife manages to kill one of the bad guys,
mm-hmm.
and the other one just gets a remote control and rewinds the movie, and then he kills her.
So stupid.
Because this guy, not the other guy who killed, well, then he rewinds it and he's not dead anymore. But this guy is the only one who knows that he's in a movie, and he does some stuff like winking camera.
Wait, so
and
it's basically this is. So I'm seeing this movie is from '97. So this is kind of like predicting Let's Plays where where the player just goes psycho and does a run where they do all of the bad things and break all the rules and get the bad end and kill all of the kill all the friendly NPCs. And then if they lose, they're like, no, let's quick load. Let's go back and redo that.
You want to see it that way, I guess.
That's really stupid for a movie.
It's extremely stupid, and it's supposed to be frustrating. And when they showed it in Cannes and at the film festival, like what was it, a third or 2/3 left the movie.
Oh, really? They're just like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
There's some movies,
but it gets just... like a lot of times when you watch like this what's the word? Cinephile movie lovers.
Yes, yeah, cinephile.
Yeah, they always have like a long list of 100 movies you need to have watched.
Yeah,
and this
usually
movie
a lot of them are shit.
Yeah, of course. But a lot of times you find this movie on there. Just because it's like, wow, it's breaking the fourth wall for the first time, and it's stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes doing something different isn't
it's
good.
Not good.
Yeah, you could cook spaghetti with cat poop instead of noodles, but it wouldn't be good.
That reminds me,
cinemaphiles would love it. They'd eat it all up.
What was it in somebody? One of the pop culture critics that we usually watch was talking about the new Lord of the Rings thing, and had like one of the most perfect memes to show, where some dude is sitting at a table and another one is standing on the table and is naked and hovering above the plate. And the dude who was going to eat there was like, "What the fuck are you? Why are you shitting on my food?" And the naked guy goes like, "How do you know I'm going to shit on it? It's not even out yet."
Yeah, exactly. Which reminds me of
so perfect.
Something I discovered the other day. So, did you know they're still adding more X-Men into the comics? I haven't read an X-Men comic in years and years, but they're still adding new characters to them. And a lot of them are like,
sure,
of course, really dumb because all the cool powers have already been taken. There's one character who's a non-combat mutant, and her power is that she poops ice cream. And everyone else says, "Oh, it's the best ice cream ever." And that's her entire thing. And they put that into a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
And that's why, even though we give a lot of these series low scores every week, that's why we're reading Jump instead of Marvel.
Yeah, even though like this specific magazine this week is not good, but it's definitely better than like ice cream pooping X-Men.
Yeah, exactly. Culture. So how would you rate this
anyways. 62.
Mm-hmm. Going on.
Let's continue with Akane Banashi. I think you've read that.
I have, yeah. Yeah, and I looked at the cover and I pointed at the screen because I've been there before.
Oh, you mean the thing?
Yeah. The color cover. It's Asakusa, where they have the big gate and then all of the little stores, the little shops. Yeah, I've been there. Have you been there?
A bunch of times, in fact. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. Are you familiar with the comedian Tom Green?
Tom Green.
He was like back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Wait, is that Freddy Got Fingered?
Yeah, it's Freddy Got Fingered.
Ah, damn it.
He did a video where he went to Japan and it's basically the entire thing is just him being an idiot. But one of the skits in it was that he's an interviewer talking to tourists and stuff in Asakusa, and he's just being a weird asshole. So like it's like haha, look at this guy with the camera and microphone, but he's so dumb. But anyway, I want to say that was probably the inspiration for what the Paul brothers ended up doing. Because they filmed something there too, and they were like even stupider than Tom Green.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I couldn't think of the name of the two guys.
Yeah.
The Paul. Which one was the guy who? Which one of them? One of them is a boxer, and the other one went to Japan.
They're both boxers.
Now. What?
Yeah.
Jake Paul.
Yeah, Jake. I think Jake is the one who keeps winning, and everyone is like, it must be like a setup.
Keep getting away with that.
Yeah, because I think like the only time that because I think all his fights are against people who are like retired fighters. Yeah, so they're like, okay, I'll come back for a fight just to get pay-per-view money, and then like he'll beat them. So finally, they set up a fight where he was going to fight a guy who's the same age as him and the same size as him, unlike all like these old fat guys that he was fighting. And then that guy overtrained and broke a rib.
I know that's even worse.
Yeah. So then they're like, oh, the fight's canceled. We'll have to schedule it some other time. So he got away. Everyone was like, oh, he's finally gonna lose.
No, Jake Paul was like, no, I win by default.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where she is now. I assume there's a lot of rakugo that goes around in that area.
I have no idea. All I know is that usually there's way too many tourists at that.
Yeah, I was big one of lantern them.
Thing. I mean, so was I multiple times, but
yeah,
like,
it's great.
You need to give me space when it is I, Maxi.
It's the main character
walking through here. You should, yeah.
Yeah. So you highlighted that she's meeting one of the old guys at a karaoke place.
And yeah, because I'm not too familiar with karaoke things. Like I know I've been to them twice, I think, because I don't have friends and nobody's usually taking me, and I wouldn't go alone because I don't know how it works. And most of the time when I see karaoke things, that's obviously from anime and manga.
Games.
And I haven't played them.
Okay, there's a lot of karaoke.
But also I think the Yakuza karaoke is in the bar, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different kind of karaoke.
You don't go into those booths because that's the thing. A lot of people, like when they think about karaoke, they only think about, oh, that's when you go in front of the whole bar and you take the stage
but
and you
most
do. No,
usually
in
it's in the
Japan,
booth.
you almost always do these booths because that's the thing that I always say. Like a lot of people don't know that in Tokyo the trains don't run at night. Like even in Tokyo they don't, and you would think because it's such a huge city, but the reason is because they have like multiple industries that are 100% dependent on people not being able to return home. So like the taxi industry, obviously, like there are so many taxis in Tokyo, and several other industries like manga cafes and karaoke are specifically designed to
stay there.
to offer a place for people to like sit around and do something, and maybe even take a nap instead of like sleeping on the street until the trains come back, or alternatively until they have to go back to work. But usually most people like return for like 1 hour into their suburbs, get dressed again, and then immediately go back to work. That's how most people apparently do it when they do it. I think this might have changed over Corona because obviously.
Yeah, so much cleaning you'd have to do every time.
But yeah. And like I know that a lot of people use karaoke places for illicit things, let's say.
Oh, really?
So I mean, you've seen it in the uh in the specific works, right? And I'm surprised that in this manga, the karaoke place has a window inside the door for the guy
You're
to
right.
peek through.
Oh, and he can
Because
hear them too. He's listening in.
he
He's
can
like,
hear them
oh,
too.
they're doing
That
Rakugo.
seems really unusual. Like even like doubly so from my own experience and from what I know people use it for. This seems like this seems like it wouldn't be real. So I kind of want somebody to tell me if they've been to a karaoke place that had window doors.
Listening,
But
tell us if you've gone to a karaoke place you can listen through the doors.
yeah, you can. Like, I have to ask this question like in a year again when we have 1 million subscribers.
Put a pin in it. We'll make a clip of this episode just for that.
I just want to know.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that last week I thought that the dad was so distraught from losing his Rakugo career that he died. But they actually just meant his career died, and he's fine. He's actually...
I forgot which one I said.
I don't remember either. But yeah, they explained that after he got kicked out, he became a concrete salesman, and now he makes a lot more money than a Rakugo performer.
Yeah.
So everyone congratulated him.
I kind of liked the thing about how he gave up his dream, and then everybody was always like, "Oh, good realistic. For you." Yeah. That's so realistic, and I think that's like a good plot point, but I don't really like how it's used or rather, I think it's wasted on Akane Banashi.
Do you know what I disliked about it? There's a couple things that I disliked about that. One is that it's only in flashbacks, and it's a kind of retelling it to someone else.
Yeah.
Secondly, if her dad's not actually dead, why is she taking lessons from this other guy in secret? Yeah, because I'm like, she already, obviously, from the first chapter as a kid, had already been imitating her dad. So you think that she'd be able to ask him for tips, and then like go to this guy and already know a lot? But they're like, I don't know, when they say, oh, she's been practicing with his guidance for 5 years without actually going on stage in front of anyone until now. Oh no, it's seems
I
kind
hadn't
of
thought about that, but that's true.
yeah, seems
That's
seems kind of weird to like she's got a dad who knows all this stuff, and then
I mean, unless the
maybe he's
dad
just too
is
busy.
also dead. No, he's also dead.
He got really into concrete. Literally, he fell in. He's gone now.
Yeah, just failed to mention that. Oh yeah, also he died.
Yeah.
I mean, this is 6 years later.
Yeah.
A lot of
and
could have
also,
happened.
We again we get introduced to another master without having any demonstration of why they're so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that we will get to see is Akane doing Rakugo next week.
Mm-hmm.
And
the
from
response from the
that
crowd.
we're supposed to realize that she's the real deal, even though we've already had like
know it.
enough. We already know it. We don't need it.
She's
We
already
need
good from
more
the first chapter.
examples from other characters.
I think in a lot of discussion of modern media from like Hollywood and stuff, one of the things that gets brought up a lot is main characters who are super good at whatever they're doing from chapter 1. And then when that happens, you have to have some different challenges for them other than the specific action that they're already good at. So I feel like in this, the specific challenge for her is just going to be getting people to watch and getting acknowledged by the other Rakugo people. But then on that second part, we've already skipped over a lot of it because she's known this master for 5 years already.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think it's not always automatically bad when the main character is really good at something. For instance, if you remember,
like Senku is a super science genius from chapter 1.
I was going to mention Luffy from One Piece, who starts first chapter when he's a child, he's a little shit, but after that, he trained, and then he's like really good and at fighting.
Yeah, one of the first things we see him do is beat up a Sea King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, the drama comes from him being disabled for one reason or another.
Right.
But it always kind of worked out in the first half of One Piece. So it's not automatically
as if we're not still in the first half.
No.
Actually, didn't he say that one of the arcs a little bit ago was the halfway point? It was a while ago, but it was still like 10 years deep into the series. He's like, "This is the halfway point."
Was it the time skip? Maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
I hope it's the time skip.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
There's not that many places left to go.
Yeah. They're gonna spend a lot of time on that final island.
Oh no!
The final island is gonna be the final island is gonna be the island from Jigoku Raku. They're there for another 10 years. Yeah, I will say in this, the traced backgrounds don't look as traced as they did last chapter.
I just didn't pay that much attention to it. And I like the color page and at the front was good enough to make me go like, yeah, that might be traced.
I like the art.
I like it. It looks good. I can accept.
It's one of those series where I like the look of it, but there's just certain things about the pacing that I'm like, I'm not completely agreeing with. But
yeah,
I will give this chapter 6 out of 10 photo traced backgrounds.
6, yeah, that sounds about right. I was at 68.
Yeah. And next we have
Stone.
You want to die? Says Y-Man.
That's from a few chapters ago.
Oh, it's from a while
and now
ago,
it finally makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it? Didn't he say it while they were already on the moon?
I think maybe it was repeated, but I thought that it was something. I thought it was earlier before, but yeah, it's the same sort of thing as it. Them hearing the why, and it sounds so threatening in the beginning, but then you realize that it's like a stupid AI alien, and you're like, oh, it just literally doesn't understand the. Yeah. So what did you think of this one? I was big excited over this chapter.
This is, I think, my favorite chapter from
this is the best
week.
one this issue.
I like that a lot of people, a lot of things got explained that previously were like left open or memory hold where you might have forgotten it, but always had it in like the back of your mind, thinking, maybe this will get explained or not. And
one thing I liked that it doesn't look like you highlighted, but Senku at one point says what we were saying last week that we wish it said.
Yes.
Senku just straight up says it. Let's see, what's the line? He says,
the whole plan
I get it. You want us to use our science to replace your batteries, but by sealing us away in stone for thousands of years, you destroyed scientific civilization. Why shoot yourself in the foot like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And they
agreed.
Yeah, and they reply basically by saying, "Oh, humans too dumb. We thought you were smarter.
Yeah,
you'd be able to break out quicker."
I don't know who said it, but someone recently mentioned it one more time, where it says it doesn't matter if you lampshade something, if it's a bad decision, it's still a bad decision. Mm-hmm. Like you can, like, if you lampshading is the act of putting a big
pointing out something,
pointing out that something like is dumb or doesn't make any sense, but you still
can you think of any examples from another piece of media?
I think about it longer. Like, if I use all of the remaining brain,
I don't want to expend your brain power, and you won't be able to break out of the petrification.
Exactly. If I think about that right now, I won't wake up next time. This happens a lot.
I know what you're talking about. It is kind of lampshading it about how it's dumb, but whatever. I guess because it's an alien, they expected us to accept it more. It doesn't understand humans.
Exactly. Like, the thing is, I've watched enough documentaries about scientists speculating about how aliens would be like, and that aliens would be so different from us that they would have ideas and ideals and assumptions that we would never have, and vice versa. So they would never consider that if you're smart enough to create radio waves, you should be smart enough to break free from the stone, for instance, in this thing. So that's why I was very lenient last week. But this week I'm not so lenient because you told me I shouldn't be. And
then meanwhile I was
like, I agree.
I was like,
I agree.
Senku,
it's not like yeah.
And then the final page of it, we get
the final page. Yeah, that. By the way, before we look at the final page, the one where the Medusa is inside the vacuum thing, where you read its thoughts, and it says, "Must unleash petrifying wave to inform the intelligent life forms of our existence." But it was previously shown that they can already communicate with antennas, and they can send like messages. Like
you're right.
They were able to replicate Senku's voice and send the message of like 1 second.
Yeah, send the
3 trillion kilometers. They were able to send that through the not telephone, but let's say telephone.
Radio.
Why didn't they
Yeah, why didn't they communicate directly?
Like,
that's
they can do it. Why didn't they do it? Why is the only form of communication must use Petri beam, must show them?
They're aliens. They're not very smart aliens, though.
You can just use the. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. One more time.
Again, yeah. But
so the final page, I was
what's that?
That's supposed to be like the highlight of the anime, where the big spectacle for the big finale.
Yeah, all the shiny things swirling around him.
Yeah, I'm like 100% sure that this is supposed to wow us, but at the same time, I think this is extremely dumb. Because why does Senku need to? Why does he need to do this?
Other people?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like it's not like he's preparing for like a birthday surprise for everybody on Earth.
Maybe he is. They're gonna set up a really nice party. But I was like looking at this thinking, it's like near the end of the Matrix when Neo goes to negotiate with the machines. That's what this is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what happens next week. What he actually says.
I'm interested, and I think it's like only at best 10 chapters from the end.
Oh yeah, we're coming to the end.
Also, next week is the 5-year anniversary.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Congratulations, so, big color pages next week.
Cool.
69 points.
Really? That was your highest? I liked it a lot more. I give it 8 out of 10 vacuum tubes.
8 even.
Yeah.
Last week I was at 75 and you said that was too much.
You were too generous last time. And then we switched.
Yeah.
The next we have something I don't think either of us will be too excited.
All I have to say about this chapter of PPP is what's wrong with your face.
Yeah, really. Okay, Blue Box.
Yeah. Blue Box is also a really like unpleasant chapter, let's say. You again get the sports montage that doesn't really show you anything. It's mainly just character thinking about trying to win while playing.
Yeah, but it doesn't show what the moves are.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, as always, really wasted potential. It would be much more interesting to show how they're playing for realsies.
Yeah, I'm not like super knowledgeable about badminton, but I know that it's one of those net games where like, you know, there's a whole big thing about, oh, should you get it higher over the net or closer to it or more to the corner, this and that.
I mean, it's
I know that there
tennis,
is like beyond
floaty ball.
Beyond just, oh, I got to keep moving my feet. There is a bit of strategy to it as well. But
it would have been nice to get this strategy explained to us.
Yeah.
But they won't, because it's not a sports manga, it's a romance manga.
Yeah, it's a romance that just happens to have sports in it.
Something that's like mildly plot related is that the senpai's girlfriend, who's the best friend of Chinatsu, tells Taiki that since he's living with Chinatsu, but doesn't tell her that he likes her. He's being a creep. Because, and then you see him thinking about how creepy he might have been.
Yeah, smelling her.
Always smelling her and like sneaking a glance. And the smell thing especially is like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This piece of shit.
And looking at the back of her neck. That was something he was into, right?
The he's most erogenous
he's a back
zone on guy. Yeah. And next page, the senpai does the stupid Japanese back hug thing. I don't know if there is a name for it, but I hate it.
Is that common? Where else does that happen?
Oh god, it's so common. It's the worst. It happens like if you watch or read any romance thing, then somebody will do this dumb back hug thing.
I feel like I'm used to seeing characters like giving someone who's tired or hurt a ride on their back, but not.
But this is different because this is like this is
the
like
the it's the reverse.
I can't face you right now, but I want to lean on you and show that I'm weak and that I need you, but in a way that's like that's honestly this one is creepy.
That kind of hug,
like yeah, but like actually this is creepy. Like if somebody does this to you out of nowhere, like even if it's your wife or your girlfriend or your whatever, like that's I don't want that.
Did you ever play?
I don't need that.
Did you ever play Shadow of Mordor? Or watch
it? Is that the one where you can mind break the orcs?
Yeah. it's the orc mind.
Do you do that with the orcs?
Yeah, but the tutorial for the game. So the premise of it is that the main character is a ranger from Gondor who, like, wherever he lives, gets completely destroyed. And his family gets killed, and he gets killed. But then the ghost of a ancient elf warrior possesses his body, and that makes him come to life again somehow. And then it gives him superpowers like being able to slow down time and mind break orcs. But the tutorial of the game is like sort of before the bad stuff happens, and the way it teaches you to do stealth is you have to sneak up behind your wife to give her one of these hugs.
No.
It's the same buttons as when you sneak up on an enemy and do a stealth kill to them. So sneak up and stealth kill your wife to start the game.
Actually, it's kind of like smart, but
it's
also
clever.
Like now
it's
clever. But now that I think about this stupid back hug, I don't want it.
Well, add that to the pile of non-canon Lord of the Rings things, like the upcoming TV show.
It might happen. Yeah. It might happen in the upcoming TV show.
It might happen. So, what did you rate Blue Box?
49.
Not too.
I'm disrespecting it. I'm denying it the 50.
Can't clear that hump. And next we have a Levi's ad.
You shall not pass. Which watch is this is like the weirdest chapter of Which Watch in existence.
This is the author. So we thought it was weird when the author was like, let's just do a completely different manga. But then this one is the author saying, I want to talk about one of my hobbies from real life. They just talked about breaking in denim for the whole chapter.
Especially with the final panel of the whole chapter.
Yeah.
I noted down, like, is this just product placement?
Yeah, is it?
How much money did the author get from Levi Jeans?
Well, maybe it's like when podcasters start talking about stuff that they've been using in hopes that if they tag the company in like a tweet announcing it, then they'll get free ones of that. Maybe the author is like, oh, maybe if I tag Levi's, I'll get some free jeans.
Wonder.
That's my guess.
Might be. Also, like, the thing is, what I expect, if this gets made into an anime, you know what will happen?
There will be a real product placement.
They will probably change the brand name Levi into something different.
That's possible.
That's how it always goes. Like, if there's like a whiff of product placement inside the manga, then in the anime it'll get changed to Pepsi and McDonald's.
Yeah. Levi's. So do you know anybody who's really into denim like Moy is?
From the early 2000s, maybe someone.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, I think.
Oh, you're friends with Justin Timberlake. How's he doing these days? Yeah, I had a friend in university who was super into denim, and like
wow,
annoyingly so. Like if he saw anyone else get new jeans, he would ask us if we were going to do this process of breaking it in and not washing it. And I was like, no, because I like to wear clean pants. And he was like, oh, but the texture will get so much better, and it'll look nicer and feel nicer if you go for a few months before you wash it. And I'm like, no. I was not.
This is like a real thing.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it's totally real. And also, I don't know if you knew, but Japanese denim is like a big deal. Like even though it was invented in America, a lot of the expensive brands of denim are from Japan, and Americans who are like super into denim will go out of their way to like find Japanese stores to buy jeans from.
What?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, the Japanese brands are so special.
How? Why?
Well, I think it's because most of the American brands have gone into, because they talk about stonewashing and acid washing in this chapter. Most of the American brands, then a majority of what they sell is that. The people who are like, oh, I want to break it in myself, then they'll usually have to go to like specialty stores anyway, and then they buy the Japanese ones.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, they
I'd
didn't
like
talk
to
about
know
that
more
here.
about that.
They have Levi's, but it's definitely a thing. Americans buying Japanese denim, even though denim was invented in America. And
wow.
he doesn't really talk about it as much here, but supposedly, it's not just the look of the wrinkles on it that he talks about, but supposedly it'll
it's
make
called
it feel
whiskers.
better too. Yeah, the whiskers and honeycombs on it. And it makes me kind of want to look back at previous chapters to see if he's ever wearing jeans like this.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Mm-hmm.
Moy is all about vintage fashion, which is like such a weird thing to drop on your main character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like it's not the vintage. It's the kind of vintage fashion that you wouldn't know unless someone tells you.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff to me sounds like normie core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know the fashion
like
trend
buy,
of trying to
like $200
Gap.
Gap stuff, and you're like, how is that looking any different? They're like, oh, if you look inside, it's from this or that place. So and so designed this one for such and such company at this this time, and you're like, I could get something that externally and by the feel is nearly identical to that for like a third of the price.
Oh, but that reminds me, I actually saw like a kid. When was it? 2 days ago? 3 days ago? This week at least. A kid who was wearing one of those like pajama-looking things, like the black with the white, I think Supreme all over it.
Oh yeah.
Those stupid tracksuits that are the same pattern from top to bottom.
Yeah.
You know the ones. The ones
Yeah.
that you shop Son Goku into to look like
Yes.
he has drip.
Yeah, exactly. You saw a kid wearing
Saw
that?
one of those kids, yeah, the first time. Thought like, wow, it's the first time and it looks really stupid in real life.
One time, I was going to this local ramen place, and a couple sat down next to me, and I was like overhearing their conversation, and the guy was one of those guys, and it was so funny because it was obvious that his girlfriend like did not
Hated
know
it.
anything about that stuff, and like he mentioned,
Oh, but those
it was
conversations are the best
hilarious.
to
Yeah,
overhear.
because he was talking about they were talking about like doing something at a later day in that week. He's like, "Oh no, I can't go to that because I got to go to such and such shoe store." And she's like, "Oh yeah,
Oh no,
why?"
one of
And
those.
he was like, "Oh well, the new whatever shoes is dropping that day."
The new
And she's
Yeezys.
like, "Oh, so how is it different than the shoes that you have right now?" And he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, well, so and so did such and such on it, and it was a collaboration with this or that brand. And if you have that one, then people who know, they'll know that you got drip." And she's like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Oh, it's like the people who know about it, they'll think it's really cool." And and just the conversation keeps going, and she kept like asking like and about like what's different about it and what makes it actually better. And he was basically like, well, it's just if people know it, they'll recognize it. And then like after they left, I was wondering like, is this couple gonna stay together? Because she's obviously does not care about his hobby at all, and he like
Well,
is
that's
so
his
trying
fault
to
for
get
having a
her.
stupid.
I know.
That's his
He's
fault
so
for having a
trying to get
stupid
her
hobby.
to understand, and she was just like, whatever.
If he had a cool hobby like reading manga and
Yeah, exactly.
listening to cool podcasts,
Yeah, this
then
is the sort of
they
thing
would still be together.
that you talk to the ladies about while you're having ramen.
Mm. So
It
in
was like
chapter
those pictures of
523,
that picture of the guy at the baseball game, and he's like
yes,
talking all excitedly to his girlfriend, and
I
she
was trying to
obviously
find
does
a
not
way to
care at
mention
all.
that meme. I love that meme so much. It's
Yeah,
such a
it's
good.
great. Oh, they made a new version of it. Did you see it?
No, you have to send it to me.
It's I don't like it as much because it's just in a hallway. But yeah,
Oh,
it's got a bald guy this time,
oh
but it's
no, maybe I don't
the
want it.
same hand gesture and the same like obvious look of boredom on the girl's face,
No, maybe I don't want it. I want it to be in a stadium.
where everyone can see it. Imagine if that
Yeah.
was like how they'll show shots of the audience on the big screen
Hmm.
sometimes when there's nothing exciting
Yeah.
happening. Imagine
Yeah.
if that
The
was the
kiss
shot.
cam.
Yeah, that was the shot. Everyone was watching this conversation happen.
Kiss cam where I'm the cameraman trying to find like a brother and sister couple.
Now kiss.
You
Anyway,
have to do it.
how many whiskers would you give this chapter of Witch Watch?
59.
59 whiskers. Wow. I'd
Yeah.
give it seven crotch whiskers. Is
Ooh.
not as funny as it
I
could be, but
I don't
it's
want to
good
hear about
advertisement.
crotch whiskers.
Not too
That's
bad, because
gross.
Moy has things to teach you about.
Okay, Moy is allowed to teach me. By the way, when Nico is introducing the doppelganger magic,
yeah. There's doppelganger in this.
That's so exploitable.
Yes.
In multiple ways.
Another one of those features of this manga where it's like, here you go, fan artists and fanfic writers.
By the way, I think the ideal look for girls is wearing a white t-shirt like in the final panel. Moe doesn't even have to say Levi's on it. And jeans and like a black baseball cap. That's it. That's the ideal.
That's the ideal
clothes.
woman for Maxi. Ideal fashion for women.
Ideal fashion. It's simple,
Keep that in mind,
but
ladies.
Like good.
Simple but effective.
Next is Roboco.
A Roboco focused chapter.
Meaning it was bad.
There was one thing that I laughed really hard at, and you probably didn't. But there's one part of this chapter I really liked. But yeah, this chapter where they're talking about getting rid of their washing machine, and Roboco thinks that they're talking about her.
Mainly because it doesn't translate well into English. It translates really well into German.
Oh, really?
But in English, it's weird because a washing machine doesn't have a gender. But in like most any other gendered language, a washing machine would be female. Yeah. So in German and probably Spanish, Italian, French, that would be like that would work. But in English, you have to.
I say it worked because a lot of people will assign a gender to things that they own, like their cars and stuff. But so it's like it's not out of the ordinary, even though it's not like not a thing that's always thought of as female. Most people just say it. But I was like, oh, I could understand this. But I was gonna say that Bondo says way too quickly that, oh yeah, we're gonna get rid of our washing machine, and Roboco just doesn't hear that. And I think that it would have been funnier if they left it more ambiguous until the last page. So we, the readers, would be like, what are they talking about? They can't really be talking about Roboco, can they? And then the end, oh, they're not.
Yeah, that would have been smarter.
Yeah, but then at the end, Bondo actually is like, maybe we should get rid of her.
Yeah, I think that was the only really funny thing.
So like, what did you highlight?
After all of this crap, and then he finally says, okay, actually, real talk.
Real talk. Maybe we should get rid of her. Even though last chapter, we were laughing so hard at him saying, because I had Roboco, I could destroy the world.
That's still the best line in the whole series.
Yeah. But the thing I really liked this chapter is that the beanbag chair she lays on. Lazy, has a really anxious face on it. I'm like, oh, it's one of her art projects, like the help yourself.
But I kind of noticed that in a lot of places in Roboco, the author can't think of anything else to resolve a situation. So he says, and then a lot of stuff happened, and gives us a big montage panel. And this time it happened twice.
Ooh, yeah.
And these montages, like these are very reminiscent of Pyute Fukujaga, where montage panels or pages happened often, but on those they were always top notch. And in Roboco, there is rarely a montage panel where I go like, oh, one of these is funny. Like, not even like, oh, this whole panel is funny. Like, not even
the beanbag
one
chair?
of the small, like, the beanbag chair is nice to see. Like, I like it when they bring it back, but it's not funny. In these montages, you're supposed to bring like all of these small things need to have the same comedic impact. Yes, everything needs to be like a 100% hit joke that just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to do it. So that's kind of like always the mark of Roboco not being a top-notch comedy.
Yeah. Well, as we always say, if it's a Roboco-centered chapter, it's not going to be as good.
Yes, that's the problem. It always happens because of Roboco.
Yeah, they need to they change something about her. Give her an arc. At least bring back low battery Roboco, so we have some eye candy.
Yes. I thought this chapter was fine enough to still be at 50 for me, but any lower than that, like any little bit would have like catapulted it into like 30
over the bad.
Yeah.
Well,
because
I mean this did, even though I still think Roboco chapters aren't as good as Bondo and Friend chapters.
Yeah. But the problem I think with this chapter is that I've seen this kind of plot at least 20 times before in different media.
Different series, yeah. That's true. No, it doesn't have to be original if it's funny. So I would say that probably the main sin is just it doesn't have as many jokes as we would want. Going on to something that I think overall this week I've been saying things are better than you say. But I think this next chapter we're both probably gonna not be big fans of.
Yeah. Dororon starts with a recap of what happened previously in the fight against the...
and 75 injured. Remember when we were talking about how they're spending too much time talking on the rooftops and not fighting anything?
Yeah. Meanwhile, this happened.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this happened. Yeah. Our superheroes, they're so competent.
The bad thing is that, like, in the ninja war in Naruto, nobody except Neji died.
Oh, really?
Right? And in this stupid little bull spider demon rampage, 26 people died. That's so many. This is like a huge catastrophe.
Yeah. So, and then they just kind of pass over.
Yeah. Like, okay, Dora gets mad at it, but also I feel bad about this happening. Like in such a nonchalant way.
Yeah, they don't really talk about it after this first page, do they?
No.
The rest of it, like, the conflict is just, oh, Kusanage is a Mononoke, so we shouldn't let him hang out with us. And they don't really say, oh, you guys let that monster kill 26 people. That doesn't come up at all. And I mean, it's just Mononoke.
You see these bureaucrats, right?
Yeah.
Who somehow got really high-ranking positions. Even though I think it has been established that you have to be like a good fighter for that. And then these 4 like useless dudes exist. And it kind of feels like if you compare it to like something like Monster number 8, Kaiju, Hachigo, and that organization is more realistic, even though it's also like kind of stupid. that one is way more realistic just because it goes the military route, where it's extremely militarized and organized. And this is like a stupid, I don't know. They're sitting in a boardroom, and we don't know how many people are actually available. And this is supposed to be like the police.
Here, when everybody is wearing the same suit and like there's no difference in color, at least in the black and white, then for some reason it makes me think that they're all wearing uniforms, and it's more like I'm trying to think of the context, because it doesn't seem like bosses to me. It seems more like
middle managers.
Not even middle managers. It seems more to me like when you see pictures of like the factory floors of places. A lot of times there'll be like a couple guys wearing suits, but it'll be like the same suit, and it's a uniform, and they're like not the middle manager, they're the bottom level manager. Yeah. So they don't really give off an impression of being that important. Because usually when you look at like top management, they're not wearing uniforms anymore. Each of them has a distinct suit because they got paid to go buy a suit from somewhere else.
Yeah. Go to page the third panel that I highlighted. And read the the description, the title.
Tiny Man,
I said,
or Big Door.
Then you go to the next page.
Yeah, Tiny Man. The doors.
He's so much
he's so
further
tall
in the
door.
foreground.
Yeah.
The door is funny. Like really far away.
I think every chapter, we started out this series, the first few weeks we were saying, well, at least it's competently drawn. And then action scenes happen, we're like, well, they're kind of just doing like shaky cam action. And then they do this interior scene, and we're like, they don't have any consistency for the size of objects in the room. What a pity.
I thought that was a funny observation.
It is, yeah. Yeah, I thought that the whole second half of this chapter, where they're just talking about getting special permission from the council for Dora and Kusanagi to work together, it's a bit much like Demon Slayer, where all of the other guys get together, but a big difference between this and that is that in this, there's just one, like, I guess, like, important major character there who's Ichio's grandpa. And then everyone else is just NPCs. While in Demon Slayer, when they did that, they also used it as an opportunity to introduce, here are all of the cool guys that you're going to be fighting on the side with.
Although, you know what? That happened to be the first chapter that I ever read of Demon Slayer.
Oh, really?
Like, just to see what the buzz is all about.
Yeah.
And when I saw that chapter, I was like, this looks so stupid, because all of those pillars had the worst color schemes of all time. Everybody was like all over the place.
Yeah.
What's her name with the pink and green hair? It was a very bad first impression.
Yeah. Everyone likes the butterfly girl.
She looks relatively normal compared to like
that's why everyone likes
the
her.
Fire guy and the sound ninja
the fire guy too.
The fire guy is really good. If you've seen the movie is like, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I didn't even remember it being this good in the manga.
Yeah,
I watched it together with somebody, and I had to like hold back a few tears
from the manga, or
I don't think they did. It's 1-to-1.
Because maybe it's just having music to it made it
and
more
motion.
impactful. Yeah, I was
like to be
I
fair,
don't remember it being this impactful when I read it.
Demon Slayer is kind of like Attack on Titan, where the original manga art is
not as good.
Not that good.
Yeah, definitely.
But then when they make it into an anime, then it gets really good.
Right. They make sure that it's more consistent in the animated version.
Also, they use like a lot of Sakuga.
Oh yeah, that's
Everything
the first
is
way I heard
Sakuga.
about it. Yeah, the first way I heard about Demon Slayer was people showing clips from the anime, going, "Oh, Sakuga," and then I was like, "Well, maybe I'll read the manga first to see how it is." And I was like, "This is so ugly," and it's like, "Oh yeah, the anime is much better drawn than the manga."
Would you say that Doron Doron is better drawn than Demon Slayer?
No. I think there's certain things in it that look good. Like Dora looks pretty good here, but then I think Demon Slayer.
It's too inconsistent.
Yeah, Yes, I would say that there's more consistency to Demon Slayer in that in the early chapters, you're gonna be like, a lot of this is just badly drawn, but you can see it getting better overall. One thing I will say is both of them, I really don't like their demon designs for them.
Yeah.
Like the way the demons look, I don't like in either of these series.
Although I like them more in Demon
another
Slayer,
thing I will say about
Doron demons are stupid.
Yeah. The Dora Run demons are terrible. In terms of like actual drawing, like line quality and stuff, then probably Demon Slayer is a bit worse in terms of things not being always as clean. But we talk about consistency a lot, right? One thing I will say is that Doran, the character designs are very consistently boring.
Yes.
In Demon Slayer, the character designs are incredibly inconsistent in that some of them are so ugly, but then some other of them are so cool looking. That's just like, oh, I guess the artist is just like throwing out a ton of stuff, and it just depends on your taste. Will be who you gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll say that's a difference. This one is more consistent in not being appealing.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask is the bureaucrats, are they all eating dorayaki?
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have the same thing. What a coincidence. They like it too.
It's almost as if the artist is pushing an agenda.
Yeah, it's just like the artist for Witch Watch is trying to get some free Levi's. The artist for Doron
It's
Doron
as
Run
if
trying to get
I
some free
was
dorayaki.
making everybody eat hamburgers all the time in my manga.
You're gonna make a manga. It's a Middle Earth fantasy setting, but then everyone has hamburgers, just so you can get some.
I think that's just Log Horizon.
Oh really? I haven't watched that yet.
I mean, okay, that's a stretch. Log Horizon is an isekai where people get trapped in a video game world that has ended, and they can't die, and they don't have any. I think they can
do or something.
Yeah, and they have to figure out how to get people motivated again, and then they start making hamburgers, and that really gets
like
everybody
something
going.
That sounds like something you would write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
Someday. Yeah.
Let's move on to. Oh wait, we didn't get say the points, did we?
Number. I would give
45 for Doron Doron.
5 out of 10 dorayakis.
5. It's a little bit too high.
A little bit. Maybe I'll give it less for the inconsistent door.
This giant door. No, wait, small man. Small man.
Oh man. Now I want to see him standing next to Dora.
It's the
Oh, I just
Keanu
noticed
Reeves
something else. Look at the
meme where he's
size
on
of
the
the
stage.
cups in this guy's hand. And look at the size of the cup on the table in front of this guy. So he is just really small. Because look, the cup here is like bigger than his hand. But then the other guy picks up the cup and it looks so teeny tiny. So yeah, it is consistent. He's just a very small guy.
It's the Keanu Reeves meme where he's on the stage and then
Yeah.
they shop next to him.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Yeah. Actually, a different caption was my mom explaining to the doctor what's wrong with me.
Yeah. Next up, we have elusive.
Next up is the elusive samurai.
Gambling apocalypse, elusive samurai.
Was that the title?
No, I was just saying they did a gambling chapter.
It was a proper gamble, I'll say. Like, yeah. The
Tokiyuki
kiss
will be the prize.
The kiss could have been a little bit more scandalous, even though the author made it scandalous by pixelating it for that one panel.
Yeah, it's like when you bleep out words that aren't curse words. It makes it sound like they're curse words. So it must be scandalous.
It makes it funny.
Yeah, so
or it makes people
think
like, oh no, was that a slur?
Yeah. I didn't like the sudden shift with the divine power.
Yeah, that's too much.
Before, I had been under the impression that whenever they talk about divine power, then it's like the grandpa at the shrine. What's it? Yeah, I thought it was all metaphorical, and that when they talk about how necessary it was more of like, oh, well, this guy is really clever, so he can kind of predict things. And then when he talks about divine power,
he literally predicts stuff. He has visions.
Yeah.
Don't you remember in the beginning of the series he keeps talking about stuff like Nintendo Switch and stuff?
I forgot about that stuff. But anyway, what I was gonna say is that but when he talks about stuff like that, it's stuff that doesn't matter. It's so far into the future.
He literally sees those things. He literally has visions of the future.
Yeah, but that could be like played off as a joke because it's not directly impactful on the story. And in my thought was that it was more about talking about the function of like the people's religious devotion in their politics, since he's like the god of the region, right?
Yes, I thought at first.
I didn't think that they meant like, oh, you can, it's magic. But then this chapter is like, it's magic.
So
because not only is the what's her name, Mima or Miwa, what's her name, the girl with the two-tone hair that they're fighting against, she can actually use her divine energy to cheat at the game. Yeah. And then Shizuku uses it to hypnotize Tokiyuki.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't.
That was a little bit too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
She shouldn't. Oh, and also, she shouldn't like, be able to do that.
The enemy gambler's backstory, where she's like in some burned out temple, and she sees some lights. And says, no one respects the gods anymore, so deities must wander. So I will have their power enter into me and use it. So I'm like, oh man, imagine being like a local
imagine
deity.
Being and
then you're like, I'm going to inhabit this person's body, and they just use your power to cheat at board games. How lame.
Also, like, probably blasphemous.
Yeah. Very blasphemous.
I did like how Genma was held up in the end.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. They just grabbed him by the throat. We got him back. Although then I thought So like last week, I thought it was weird that she like names drops her dad, who is some sort of famous samurai, and then the one guy who's like gonna pull out a sword stops and he's like, okay, we'll gamble instead. And then now she's lost. She's like, well, I got my sword. So like, are they gonna have to fight her now? Even though we see here, there's 3 of the people on the hero team have swords, and it's just one of her with it. Like, they're really gonna fight now. Seems like
the funny thing is that last week you said they could just skip the whole encounter by saying we have swords.
Yeah, and now they're just gonna do it. Now she had a sword. I thought that was funny. One thing you didn't highlight that I really liked is that when she moves her pieces, there's so many sparks coming off them.
Yeah.
I could say doing a multi-track drifting of the game pieces. Oh, and one thing that I looked up because I was like, because I was looking at this, the way the dice look, I'm like, oh, they look so modern. Did they really have dice like that back then?
Well, did they?
They did. So it turns out that that dice, 6-sided cubical dice that look like this, have existed for like thousands of years. And here's a set of Roman ones, and they have like the dots in exactly the same placement that we would today. They had that in Japan too. And even further back, the ancient Egyptians had like the 20-sided D&D dice. Like those have existed since all the way back then.
Really?
Yeah. The Egyptians were big nerds.
Imagine what kind of fantasy they've come up with.
I know. If you're like an ancient Egyptian and you already exist in a world where you think that the Nile is going to lead you to the underworld, and there's gods with animal heads around.
But you forget
literal
that
mummies everywhere.
No, you forget that the pyramids are spaceships, and they were far more advanced than we were because of aliens. So they also had like fantasy based on a distant past.
Fantasy. Yeah, the Egyptians
before
played
the
fantasy
Hyper
games. War. Yeah, the Egyptians played fantasy games inspired by the Finno-Korean Hyper War.
Yeah.
And we in the modern day will play games inspired by the Egyptians.
Exactly. That's how it works.
Exactly. So how would you rate this chapter?
64.
Oh, really? I said 6.5 ancient 20-sided dice. I did not like the use of magic, but other than that, it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And as in all gambling stories, the thing to appreciate most is when someone cheats in a weird way.
Yes.
And I was looking at that. Cheating by kissing someone and then moving your pieces to a better position while everyone else is distracted by the kiss is
scandalous.
Very scandalous. The sort of thing that
premarital.
It is best used against an opponent who is also a teenage girl. The final thing.
Speaking of teenage girls,
you got Shugamaru. I read the first page and then dipped out because I was like, this is boring.
Yeah, that was a good idea because this chapter is about like one of the assassins who's trying to kill Sanagi, and it's somehow a cross-dressing boy who really wants to be a girl, but he's in denial.
Okay.
I think there's some weird, boy motor. Yeah. No, wait. So no, not boy motor. The opposite.
What is the opposite?
He's already looking like a cute girl, but he keeps insisting that he's a boy. And then the playboy side character is trying to seduce her. Like his strategy is, I'm going to make you one of the good guys by being Johnny Bravo, who says, if you look like a girl, then I'm in. No, wait, what's he saying? You look feminine enough, and that makes it straight, or something like that. And that's basically the whole chapter. And Sugamaru is a child who keeps saying, "Wait, but you have boobs," and then he says, "No, these are just giant pecs."
What? That doesn't make sense.
Like you wear a skirt, but she insists, like, "No, this is the sailor uniform because I'm a sailor." And what else does he say? You have long hair. No, this is because I just have a condition and my scalp is really sensitive and I can't wash it and cut it all of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
very
kind
very
of
in denial.
It's a messy chapter. I wouldn't recommend reading it, but I'll give it 10 points just for like not being PPP. And let's just say the boy, girl, cross-dresser, trans girl. It's really hard in this context because the canon of the series is not clear. But I'll give it like 10 points for the character being cute.
Okay. And finally, we got the preview page.
5th anniversary for Dr. Stone next week.
Oh boy.
Big color page. Earthchild is getting color page, as is custom for the second chapter of any series. Sakamoto Days. There is a one-shot that we will never get to see because I don't have access to the Japanese anymore.
Oh.
And One Piece is going to continue.
Back. We'll get to see Luffy again.
Yeah. Finally. Yeah. The final battle with Kaido.
Final battle.
Going to like take at least 5 more weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably. Yeah, there's so much that still has to get resolved.
The very it's busy getting island. Less and less.
I know, yeah. They took Big Mom off the island, so we're moving. There is forward movement. We got rid of that fire monster at the same time, but there's still lots of things that we.
I think there's more. I think the last threat besides Kaido is Cypher Pole.
Yeah, of course. And whatever's going on in the ocean with the elephant and the marine ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big things are happening. They took
big things Mom to look forward
to the board and then just added another thing coming over.
So what do you think will happen first? The reveal of what Zunisha is, or and Joy Boy, or Luffy making any progress with Kaido?
I think they're probably going to have a little bit of Luffy and Kaido fighting.
Just to show off that they're still...
Yeah, that's just to show off they're still fighting. Because last time we saw them, they were kind of fighting to a standstill. So I think that there's going to be a bit more of that.
And we're having fun.
Yeah. And then the surviving teammates are going to join in, and we're going to learn things. So I think we're going to...
Nobody's surviving. Everybody's... All of the bad guys are... I
feel like Zoro is KO'd.
And he slipped off a...
fell down.
And we didn't get to see what the Grim Reaper was.
No, we still don't know about the Grim Reaper. Lots to look forward to,
though. We can assume that Frankie probably caught him before he fell off the ocean.
Yeah, Chopper shrank.
Right?
So he's not in combat mode anymore.
No, he got back into normal.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'll maybe before reading next week, we have to do a refresher. Read some previous chapters. Be like, where is everyone?
I guess that's true.
One of those series where you need to keep like a chart to follow along.
Yeah, next time when one of those big battles is happening, I'll prepare one.
Thank you in advance. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any other announcements?
In the game? Doesn't seem like it.
Right.
I can announce that I'm going to bed like right after we turn this thing off.
All right. Well,
and then we'll have to find out if I wake up through my brain activity.
You'll stay in stone for 3,000 years.
Or if somebody has to like drip monster energy on my forehead.
That's gonna wake you up, huh? All right. Yeah. Well, until next time. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter.
Good night.
Or the chapter. The issue. The episode. See you next time.
Chapter as in brackets.